You guys, it's your girl Chanel Janae from Around the Way. Hey, and today is a very special day. Why? Because I'm doing my very first prank. I am going to be pranking my dad. That's right, I'm pranking my dad for the very first prank. And what I'm going to tell him, I'm going to do the I don't believe in God prank. Mind you, he's a pastor. He lives this day in and day out, as he should, as we all should. But on today, I ain't about that life, Dad. I ain't about that life. I don't believe in God. I'm a little nervous. Pray for me. Let's go.
Stuff in North Carolina.
Mom can make me some breakfast.
Please. We ain't got nothing to make. Eggs.
Did Mommy tell you about that service?
Last night?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was really good. She showed you like the preaching part, but the singing was good too.
Yeah, she was telling me that towards the end, right?
Mm-hmm. Then they started doing all that crazy stuff, all that people was falling out. But then she didn't even tell you this part. Then somebody came and like prayed on me.
Oh Lord.
But I ain't fall out like all them other people. I think it's fake.
Well,
I told Mommy, I was like, I don't know, I think this is all so fake. Because then it makes you think like,
all of it's not fake. You just haven't met anybody who really had the power, had that gift. Remember, everybody don't have the same gift. A lot of people.
But what can start to make people question like the whole thing, like if God is real or not, or if this is just all made up.
You know.
but
I told Mommy I think I might like study some other religions.
that's cool.
Like look into some other ones.
To look into them for what though?
Just to see like, I want to see what other ones are about.
So there's a book you need to get then, if you want to do that breaks it down for you. It's called The Kingdom of the Cults. And yes, you do.
But it talks to other ones. But I'm saying like, what if the other ones have like true stuff about the other religions?
Like what? Like what do you mean? Like
after studying them, what if I felt like one of those religions
are more
was better?
That would be where God would have to put something in your heart to let you know. Wow, that would be a big blow. Especially after all the Bible teaching and stuff that you've had. You know, and also not only that, but your blessings didn't come from another religion. You know.
What if it was all just luck then? Like, what if it wasn't blessings? It was just like.
It was just what?
Like luck, like you were being a good person, so good stuff just happened to you then.
Don't work like that.
I don't know.
Well, the only thing I could do is tell you, go ahead on and try it.
Huh? I'm gonna try Buddhism.
But I think that
You think that's a good one?
I just think that you need to read up on the religion.
But I wouldn't be a part of your church anymore either.
Buddhism or something.
I can't go to
So
a Christian church.
So you saying to me that you wanna actually leave the church and go into another religion?
Another one, yeah.
Well, ain't nothing I could do about it. I mean, I would be hurt by that because I know that right now, if you were to do that, I think it comes a time where every parent, even though it hurts, you know, they have to let the kid go and find out whether it's the hard way or not, you know. And I think that right now, I think that I think you're being deceived.
I don't know. I told mommy in the car she didn't want to talk about it because she was about to cry.
I think that you're being deceived by that. Might. Well, let me use the bathroom. What do you think? Why do you think that other religions might be true?
He just went to the bathroom. Probably so sad.
I think that if you step out there and go to another religion, I think you'll start going into a downward spiral.
I was watching some stuff about, but what do you think about Buddhism, though? I think that's a cool one. I didn't get to study it too much yet, but...
Well, Buddhism, all of it. If you Buddhism don't believe in, they believe that pretty much that you're God. They don't believe in a God.
That we're gods? We're the gods?
They believe that what you do a lot of meditating. They don't believe in God at all. They believe in what they mask is that you'll see a lot of Buddhists where they do try to help people or whatever, but a lot of it is what they call trance meditation. And then they believe that when you die, that you just go into what they call nirvana, which is just where you suspend it up in space. And that's
Peacefully in space, just like...
That's it.
What are...
No, nothing. You just suspend it in space.
That's
That's what they believe.
You have fun, though, you fly in
Just floating
space
in
and just like,
space.
yeah.
The Bible teaches that's not happening. The Bible teaches there's actually a city, and there's a city for you. And that.
Wouldn't you want to be in space where everybody just be like, oh...
Well, the problem with the space is
nothing to worry about.
well, the issue with their religion now is when you begin to talk about space, especially like the atmosphere and the ionosphere, those two right there, is tearing down. When you start looking at the news and you begin to look at the weather and what's happening in the universe, like for instance, you have the rays from the. So right now, if you look at it, the Bible talks about in the last day. That's another thing about prophecy in the Bible too, is that the difference between the Bible and any other religion that I've studied is that the Bible gives you prophecy and lets you know what's going to happen. The other religions can't do that.
Don't think it's we don't see everything, though. We can't see.
Yes, you can.
Like,
Listen,
well, we
the-
can't...
Us could see their gods, right? Like they could physically, like we
No.
could see the little fat guy.
He's not a god.
Buddha was just Buddha was a young boy who grew up in a rich family, and one day they kept him inside of these big gates so he could never see poverty. And one day,
the thing. There's pictures of that.
I know, but and what happened is one day he just happened to be able to peek out of his gate and he saw the poverty, and he began to start trying to help people. And so eventually he became a person for to help the poor. And so they made a statue of him
That's a nice person.
to remember what he did as a person, but he's not a god. So that right there, but even with that, still, it tears down the theory that they will be able to, when you die, that you'll be able to have nirvana, because again, the atmosphere and the ionosphere is already tearing down. You have the stratosphere, which is when you go around like Jupiter and you start going beyond those planets. Well, they haven't been able to necessarily get a handle on the stratosphere yet, because they still trying to determine how in the world they're going to stop all this deterioration in the atmosphere and the ionosphere. Everything operates in order.
So we got to kind of get up there before the skies start to mess up.
With prophecy of the Bible, Jesus talks about that there's going to be signs to look for when he gets ready to come back to sit on his throne. And one of the things that you're starting to see now in the last month, and I'm not even going to go back for the whole year, all the cataclysmic things that has happened, not just in the U.S., but all over the country. But last night, he talks about the increase of violence.
I know, the shooting in Vegas.
Over 50 people
That
got
was the
killed.
biggest one.
Ever. Now, don't forget, they just had a shooting a few months ago where people got killed. Don't forget the Boston bomber. Don't forget all that stuff. But then the other thing has to do with nature. And one of the things that Jesus said was that there would be earthquakes in different places. And he began to talk about the weather patterns. Now, you had Harvey, you had Emma, you had they had 6 hurricanes that came back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Then, not only did they have 6 hurricanes, but then Mexico just had an earthquake where over 200 people died. Right? Now, all of a sudden, you got 50 people being killed in Vegas.
Yeah.
Not to mention that before the summer, there was a drought in the farmland, which is Oklahoma, Kansas, Illinois, the Midwest. There was a drought there. So people was, in Michigan, don't forget
The world is ending.
Don't forget that in Michigan, they can't drink water. The water was messed up. So if you start to look at other religions, the one thing, they don't have prophecy. Number two is when you look at Buddha, Muhammad, Tash Russell, and Joseph Smith. Buddha started the Buddhist movement. I'm not even going to get into Hinduism where they got over 3,000 gods. Tash Russell, who started Jehovah's Witness religion. Joseph Smith, who started the Mormons. The one thing, and I can't remember all of the religions because I've studied probably about 10 or 20 of them.
And you don't like none of them. We could
Because
probably look into...
there's one thing that they never did, and that is they never could predict their deaths. Jesus is the only person that could predict his death. And he throughout the Gospels, Jesus would always tell his disciples, this is how I'm going to die. I'm going to
But what if they
Jerusalem.
made up that whole that story? Because somebody wrote that. So it could be
Well, Okay, like
to
for
just
everything
keep
else.
us...
Well, that's why I always teach y'all the historical, transformative view of something. There's historians who are not Christians. There's a Jewish historian by the name of Josephus who writes about the same thing. But there's no other religion that even talks about that. All the other religions is predicated on how you can make yourself a god.
You don't want to be a god?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I was a god, I wouldn't be living in this house.
Trying to figure out how to pay bills and living the way I'm living. I'll tell you that much.
You're not mad? What? I'm not going to church.
Oh, you talking about you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to church.
Mm-mm. Bible study, church, nope.
So you mean this week you're not going to be on the Bible study?
No.
I think you're messing with me.
Nothing with you.
And I just don't think you would.
Well, you believe it on Sunday.
Well, then, if that was the case, why did you fast and pray?
That was before I saw how fake it was just last night.
Oh. So I need to call your mother and
It
tell
was all
her
fake.
to leave that, to stop taking you places.
It's done now. I ain't going to none of that stuff no more. I don't know.
Well, it don't look good for the preacher and the daughter go to another religion,
Yeah. Well,
especially since she was coming to church.
don't tell them.
What I'm gonna do when people say, "What happened to Chanel?" So I guess you being over the youth ministry is a done deal, huh?
Of course, I'm not going to that church. I'm not going to anybody's church.
So, man. All right.
And then the religion that I find, I'll tell you all about it once I learn about it.
You would tell me all about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be so mad at you. I might not even talk to you no more.
You won't talk to me anymore. I might be able to talk you into the one that I want to do. And then
I become a Buddhist?
yeah.
Well, I'll do it.
Yeah, because I ain't believing nothing you say no more. So I ain't.
Goodness. Lord Jesus. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Lord. This girl. Jeez.
I think you've been lying to me this whole time. And I don't appreciate it. Because you have been pranked. Pranked.
You know what?
Pranked.
You always.
Pranked. The first prank.
You know what?
Well,
ooh.
the
But you
viewers
know what,
will
though? I'ma
learn
tell you
something good, though.
I'm gonna tell you something though, Chanel. That's a good. I would like for you to do that on a
That was.
and let me answer those questions
Well,
again.
you guys. I'm holding it the wrong way. I should have been holding it this way. But anyway. Well. I think I got him a little bit.
She know too much about the Lord.
Maybe y'all learned a little something at the same time. But that was the very first prank
You didn't have the phone on, did you?
of many. Yes, I did.
The whole time?
I had it hidden.
What?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
And
you know what?
hopefully you guys enjoyed that prank. Got to laugh at him a little bit. I didn't know how he was going to react. He actually didn't react too much. He was just real calm and like sad. But that was the first of many pranks.